Hey everybody, welcome back to more CALLOUS Invitational 7 action. We are in round 3 officially, and these guys did not waste much time at all. They are playing on Monday morning in real time, and even though on YouTube, to keep things in order, this will be posted after the final round 2 match, Roro and Cyber Odin, that I gave an extension to. In real time, this match and the video that I'm going to do after this happened in round 3 before round 2 even completed. So a little bit funky, and one of the many reasons that I dislike giving extensions, but as long as Cyber Odin and McMegan do in fact play today, as we all agreed to, then we'll make it work with just minor annoyance rather than tournament-altering inconvenience. So 2 of the 4 players, like I said, that just jumped into action on Monday, and we're eager to see how they fare, are Jester and BIHI. This is round 3, which is exclusively the lower bracket, and as such, loser goes home. Loser is done with a 1-2 record. Will it be Jester, who went deep last year, or will it be BIHI, participating in his first and only CALLOUS Invitational this year? Here's game 1 in their best of 3. Jester will be on the bottom, BIHI will be on the top. Salamence and Skarm, fairly standard leads, and Skarm has to be aware of Fire Blast or Flamethrower. Flamethrower lands a critical hit for 94%, so it does even more than Blast would have. And there is a Spike. Protect, why not? And then almost certainly gets out of the way rather than just stays in and lets it go for free. And Jester may just switch it up to Dragon Claw for neutral coverage rather than Flamethrowering again. But that is not what happens. He goes to Hariyama instead. I would have Dragon Clawed there, but fair enough. We've got Hari in. And it does not want to stay in against Aerodactyl, thinking there might be something like CB HP Flying, which would obviously be a big issue. So we end up with Salamence on Celebi. Flamethrower, super effective against that as well, 34%. Leech Seed, a swing and a miss. Flamethrower number 2. And it does, in fact, have Recover. And I personally am a big fan of Recover B. These days, you youngins like to live on the wild side and just have it get HP back with Leech Seed and Giga Drain. I'm a Recover man. Call me old. I am old, but call me old school. There is a Swords Dance and a Flamethrower, respectively. The Swords Dance is actually not as exciting as it could be. Normally, Intimidate doesn't matter in this matchup, but when it is apparently an SD pass Celebi, I guess it matters. So if he does pass out, he'll only be passing +1 rather than +2, and that is indeed what's happening here. So +1 goes to another fire weakness in Metagross. However, Jester tries to Toxic it instead, which obviously blanks, and now here comes Meteor Mash. He got out of the way fearing either Mash or Rock Slide, wouldn't take either one overly well. And Starmie, despite the resistance, takes 50%, but there's no crit or raise, and that's going to allow a recover, and BIHI does not push the issue. A lot of the time, I think Meta should stay in there and click EQ, and it would do a good amount, but he sees it differently, maybe fearing something like T-Wave. So Celebi ST's up again. If he's got HP fighting, this is a dead T-Tar here. Just BP's out. Or I guess he doesn't have any attack, right? Because didn't he show... Yeah, he showed Leech Seed. My apologies. Sometimes SD Celebi carries HP Fighting, Ancient Power, things to that effect. But anyhow, the T-Wave Tower, which I'm a huge fan of, personally, is going to connect with Meta here. The follow-up is Flamethrower. Full Para kicks in. Obviously, Mash or EQ at +2 would have killed the T-Tar there, but BIHI unlucky with the full Para at a bad time. T-Wave is broken. T-Wave Tower is good. If you take nothing else away from this game, take that away. EQ, blanking, as meant, switches in, and Intimidate, which is relevant against Physical Tower as insult to injury. Starmie reappears, hasn't quite gotten a chance to Rapid Spin yet, but perhaps now is the time, as Skarmory also reappears. Yes, Skarm gets lefties out of the red, but totally fine trade to let it get lefties a turn or two and get a Rapid Spin off, but he doesn't actually go for it. He goes for Surf. He's more intent on killing the Skarmory, which, as we see, didn't even stick around. At this point, he's finally going to Rapid Spin, and SD happens yet again. A pass is going to get off here if he wants it to. Probably last move T-Wave on that Starmie, but it doesn't have to be since the Tar also has T-Wave. And here is Arrow, so he's only getting +1 because of Intimidate, but still more than enough to kill the Mech should it stay in here and eat a Rock Slide. Instead he goes for Substitute, though, so he might sub all the way down to a Pinch Berry to put him at +2, but he's actually going to attack at this point, Rock Slide. Doesn't get a flinch, but he does get a crit, and that puts T-Tar in range where it will die to another Rock Slide as long as he doesn't miss, which he doesn't, so T-Tar's down, and the first knockout of the game and the set goes to BIHI. Salamence comes in, re-intimidates Aerodactyl since the sub isn't there anymore, and it's back to neutral attack. At this point, out of the way it goes. And Jester switches as well, because Rock Slide, even neutrally, is still threatening. So we end up with Skarm on meta, and Skarm, of course, going to try to lefties heal itself some more. Manages to do that once, back up to about a third, and Mash is protected against. This one is not. Standard Mash, no raise. And there is the Roar, prompting out Starmie. Still have not seen the last poke for either player. Starmie, we know, has at least Surf to threaten the Skarm. Don't think it has T-Bolt, but it could. Last move might not be T-Wave. It could just be a coverage move. If so, now would be a splendid time to click Ice Beam, but not sure that he's got that option. Certainly should do it if he's got it. And he's certainly playing like he doesn't as Hariyama comes in. And there is the recover to get the Celebi back to damn near full health. Could knock off here. SD. No, Hidden Power Bug. Or Ghost. I guess we don't know because it was a crit. But that's brutal. And that's going to just instantly take the Celebi out. And now all of a sudden, BIHI, who I think was a smidge ahead, maybe not so much anymore, especially with the paralyzed meta. This is going to be a lot harder now that that critical hit happened. So Arrow coming in and fishing for cross chop misses, discovers the bad news. It's Brick Break. It's never missing. So now he's going to have to sub down to his Pinch Berry, and he's going to have to +1 HP flying and see how far he can go with his Zah. Okay. Well, he must have miscalculated what HP the Aerodactyl needs to have for substitute. The correct number is always an exact multiple of 4 plus 1 HP. So for example, just for the sake of simple math, if you had 100, you would make 25 HP subs. So the number that you want is 101, is the way that that would work. But yeah, either a copy-paste error, maybe the IVs are funky due to a bad paste between PokePaste and Showdown or wherever he got this team from, or simply a miscalculation, but an embarrassing Gaku-esque way to end Game 1 where he was expecting to be able to substitute there, he wasn't able to substitute there, instantly died, and then perhaps thinking that he can't win authentically, or just wanting to die of embarrassment, either or, BIHI simply concedes at this point. It's interesting to think about what could have been had that worked the way it was supposed to work. He subs down to 1 HP, he grabs a Lychee Berry and goes to +1, and then he's a threat. I mean, I assume you click Hidden Power at that point, but maybe he doesn't even have it. It could be Rock Slide, Double Edge, Earthquake after all. He might not actually have Hidden Power, which would make it even more awkward, by the way, if his IVs are normal and not funky, and he just somehow flat out miscalced anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure how he managed to do that, but he was expecting Substitute to work there, as I think we all were, and it didn't, and he just packs it in. That's a tough way to go. I don't know whether or not BIHI would have won this game had that worked the way it was supposed to work. Maybe he would have still lost anyway, but the big issue now is with this happening and with him probably a little tilty and a little bit embarrassed, he now has to win 2 games in a row. So he is going to have to put this behind him and rally back, or he's going to get taken out by Jester and go out with a disappointing 1-2 in his first and only CALLOUS Invitational. Before we get to Game 2, let me do my quick, less than 30-second donation thingamabobber. We need them. This tour is entirely funded on donations. We're at just under 2,000 right now. The goal that we want to hit is 2,600 to beat last year's record. If possible, it'd be good to hit 3,000 as a stretch goal, but 26 is the number we really want to get. If you're able to donate, it's via PayPal donation link in my Discord server. It's secure. PayPal is a trusted, secure service. I'm not keeping any of it. PayPal takes a very small fee for using the service, and everything else goes straight into the prize pool, supports the tour, supports the players. So if you have the means, and if you've been enjoying this tour, truly, anything helps. $5, $10, it really adds up, and I think we can make this the final CALLOUS Invitational, the biggest and best one that we've ever had. So please consider donating if you've got the means. Over to Game 2. BIHI with his back against the wall needs to win this game and a third game. Jester with 2 opportunities to close him out. Switching sides for continuity. Jester on the bottom again, BIHI on the top again. They both have the most common lead, Tyranitar. Breloom switching into tower is interesting. There's a lot of ways that could go badly, but counter is not one of them. So Breloom comes in for free. Celebi comes in. Pretty good Breloom counter generally there. It can be Spore just like almost anything else, but it takes very little from fighting attacks, and when it switches out, the Spore goes away. It can threaten with Psychic, and it may outspeed the Breloom. All that. Clearly, BIHI thought that Jester was going to switch there, and he is dead wrong as he Spores again. And Charizard is not something that you want put to sleep. So that was a very good turn for Jester, who has already twice outpredicted BIHI in the early stages of this game. Zard tries to wake up, fails to do so. Jester outpredicted there, goes to Scarm, thinking for sure Charizard's going to get out of the way, but instead he actually lets it kill 2 sleep turns for free. And he doesn't pursue it on the way out either, so he killed 2 sleep turns, didn't manage to wake up. Meta comes into a flamethrower that was obviously predicting a switch, and now he's going to get out of the way back to his own T-Tar. Flamethrower on that is not a huge deal unless it burns, which we see that it does not, and T-Tar for BIHI does in fact have leftovers. Hidden Power Grass, unexciting, 37%, and actually had he clicked counter, that would have countered the HP Grass, believe it or not. That is how it works in Gen 3. All hidden powers, regardless of what type they are, come back with counter, and none of them come back with Mirror Coat. So, just a weird little quirk for those of you who didn't know. But anyhow, we end up with Tara and Celebi here. Hidden Power Grass, obviously underwhelming against that. Giga Drain gets Celebi briefly to full. I was going to say he's about to get Flamethrowered, but no, even worse, he's about to get crunched. 75% it takes. Giga Drain last time did 51, and T-Tar's at 54, so in theory he should live, and indeed he does. He takes less than last time, 49 this time around, and he hangs on just barely, thanks to handy-dandy lefties. Charizard reappears, trying to wake up. Nope, long nap, that's the 3rd turn, and crunch there for 49. Zard is going to have to wake up here if it stays in, or it'll die to crunch plus sand. I think he's due to wake up. It's been a long damn nap. But Charizard disagrees. He is very tired, and even though 4 sleep turns were killed, he never does wake, and Jester furthers his lead. I don't know what BIHI could have done in that spot. It's right to try to wake the Zard. It just didn't wake. And Jester clearly ahead at this moment. Up 6-4, 3 unrevealed, and now that the Zard is dead, he could Spore something else. And he may outspeed the Tar and do exactly that. Breloom gets lefties first. We now know it's faster. Something's got to take a nap. And something ends up being Metagross. Fair enough. Very well may see a Focus Punch here. Claydol could come in if you anticipate that. It is Focus Punch, and it is Claydol. Gets him. Right in one of its many eye-like thingamabobbers. I don't know if they're actually eyes, but they certainly look like it. Gets him for about a third. Focus punch again. A little greedy. Wow. Jester out-predicting BIHI over and over in this battle. He stays in, not afraid of a possible psychic at all. T-Tar comes in, wrong mon, wrong time. Nailed by the 4x weak stab focus punch and blown into next week. And with that, BIHI going to go out not with a scream or a roar, but with a whimper. Not the way that I would have expected BIHI to go out. A lot of you guys thought that BIHI was low-key one of the tournament favorites, was a dark horse candidate to make a big run. I don't think that was inconceivable. I think he absolutely could have gone pretty far, but that's not the way that it plays out in this timeline. BIHI goes out with an underwhelming 1-2, and Jester looks as good as he ever has, and very well may make a deep run in the lower bracket. He takes BIHI out here 2-0. A little bit of bad luck on BIHI's side to be sure, but Jester looked good without a doubt, and he'll certainly be a player to keep an eye on in the lower bracket. But that is going to be our first round 3 elimination. Like I said, in real time, round 2 hasn't actually resolved yet. Still waiting on McMegan and Odin, but as far as YouTube is concerned, round 2 is already over, and we have that result, and we are now in round 3, and we have our first round 3 elimination. Hope you guys enjoyed this. There is, like I said, another pair that also chose to charge in and play very early on Monday in round 3. So that narration will be coming up next. Smash that like button, as the cool kids say. Don't really smash it, just, click it gently, softly. Don't ruin your mouse. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next battle.